How's it going, guys? Dirt Turtle here. I'm gonna tell you a story that I fucked up on the podcast that we did 2 weeks ago. I didn't post a video last week because I'm a lazy bum. But this will be going up after the podcast that just went up. So this is a story from 2 podcasts ago by now. And I got a joint with me. Just took a bong rip. This is the story that I fucked up at the beginning of the podcast. So if you didn't watch the whole thing, you probably still heard it. It was the time I went fishing with my boy Arseny. And I totally goofed up my foot while getting super drunk. So I'm gonna light this joint right now and let's get into the story. Oh, that lighted perfectly. Alright, so we're starting it off. Obviously, if you listen to the podcast, you'd know, but if you don't, the previous night to this story, we went to a party in the town over. We got home at 5:30 maybe, and we kept drinking alcohol because we were drinking at the party the next town over, and it was an hour bike ride back to our town. So we get back at 5, we're still drinking, we go to bed at around 7. I think we get up 8:30, right? Like barely any sleep. Me and my buddy Arseny. This is a good joint, fuck. If you guys are smoking weed with me, type in the comments what weed you're smoking. So, about 8 o'clock, we wake up. I'm like, alright, let's get started with the day. I pour Arseny and myself each in a glass some Pepsi, top it off with 2 ounces of vodka each, right? A double shot. I'm like, alright, boy, chug this shit. He's like, okay, not knowing that there is fucking alcohol in it. Fucking downs it. Same with me, I down it. And I got a Tropicana orange juice bottle, like one of the big 3-liter ones or 2-liter ones, I don't know, it's a big one though. And I'm like, alright buddy, I have some Long Island iced tea, 30% alcohol, so it was strong shit. And I was like, I also have vodka and I have actual iced tea. He's like, alright, like here's the plan, 3 liters, I'm gonna pour half a liter of the Long Island iced tea. I'm gonna fill up the rest, other 2.5 liters, or no, I'm gonna fill up the other 2 liters with regular iced tea, leaving half a liter, and in that half a liter, I will dump as much vodka as I can, because I had a Mickey, which is 12 ounces, so I probably dumped about 6-7 ounces in it, and then topped it back up, right? So it wasn't completely full, but it was full enough, and it was just pure death of concoction. It was fucking strong, I'll tell you that much. So we get our fishing gear ready, about 9 o'clock this is, we eat breakfast, like cereal or something, and we get our bikes, because where we want to fish is what we call the diversion. It's a fancy name for 2 rivers that meet, right? So it's about a half-hour bike ride or something. We get on the road, we get our booty holes moving. Good times. It's about a half-hour bike ride. We make the bike ride. It was a sweaty one. We set up camp once we get to the fishing spot right by the river. The one side leads into a big river going real fast, water's downstream. We are on the south side of the bank, and then there is the river that flows into the big river, and then there's the north side of the bank across the river. But in between, there's like a almost dam, because there's a drop, that the water has to go down to get to the big river. And the water flows over it because it's not very high, and it's supposed to lead some water in, but not too much. It's mostly for when it floods. And across that, there are rocks, right? And there are rocks all on the other side, so there's nowhere to really stand on mud, because we were standing on mud on the south side. But yeah, we get our fishing gear ready. I got my rod holders. Arseny uses one of my rod holders and one of my nice catfish rods. I use my catfish rod and a regular fishing rod, but an extra large 7-foot one for a big fish. So I have 2 rods. He has 1. Not very legal. Don't tell the policies. JK. Fuck, I'm high, man. This joint's almost halfway done. It's pretty freaking nice. So we're about halfway through the day. We've grinded up about 5 grams, smoked probably 3 between the 2 of us. We've drank in half of the bottle. We've caught at least 2 fish by now. Carp, I have you know, and 26-inch minimum. And I'm like, hey, Arseny, I got a vape. I have weed. What if I vape into the bottle? And then I shake it up, you know? Go like this. Get it nice and shaken. It'd be pretty nice, right? So I do it. I take a big vape rip of 50 Nick out of a Nord 2. Blow it all into the bottle, so the bottle is no longer see-through. It's just filled with smoke, half alcohol, half smoke. And I start shaking, right? And I shake it until there's no more vape in it. And I do that about 2 or 3 times with the vape. And I'm like, all right, Arseny, toss me a pipe. So he tosses me a pipe. I do that 4 or 5 times with weed and nicotine now. I'm like, all right, it's ready. So we drink that. Holy fuck, did that get us ripperonied. I almost threw up about a half hour into it. We drank damn near the whole thing until our friend Chris came along and stole it. But that's later in this story. So, about halfway through the day, I want to get to the other side of the river, the north side, to get some fishing done, right? Because there's a nice pocket where you can catch fish near the north side, but you have to cast from the south side. And I was thinking, what if I get a good angle, right? So I walk my way over, not wearing shoes because I'm a dummy, drunk as fuck, high as fuck. I've drank in like 2/3 of the bottle of alcohol and weed and nicotine by now. So I'm fucking like wobbly drunk. This is after I almost threw up, so that's how drunk I am. Or almost threw up, yeah. So I walk over, hobble over these rocks, right? There's about 20 rocks I have to jump over, like across one to the other, making me feel like a parkour master, being so high. So I get to the other side after crossing the river, and it's a lot of rocks. So I'm going pretty fast, hopping from rock to rock, jumping, and I go to the top of the rock section on the north side, and then I want to go down near the bank of the river so I could look at a good place to cast. And on my way down, I go to stop on a big rock, and as I go to stop, my right foot hits the top of the rock perfectly, but my left foot on the way down bumps the edge of the rock, kind of like how you hit your foot on the edge of a stair accidentally when you're trying to walk up it. I did that, but on the rock, and I put my foot on top. I looked at my left foot, and all of a sudden, the tip of my foot was missing. From the edge all the way up to where the nail ends, right? It's just gone. And I look a little lower, and it's still hanging by the bottom. but it's fucking off there, eh? So I hobble my way back across the rocks. I'm like, yo, Arsony, I just fucked up my foot real good. He's like, oh, I know what to do. So he grabs some paper towel. I put it on. I look in my fishing bag. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I have a condom. And I have a rubber band. So I put the paper towel on my foot. I put the condom on my, well, this happened on my big toe. So I put the paper towel on my big toe. Then I put the condom over the paper towel on my big toe. And I put a rubber band around it so that it's nice and snug. And I was like, oh, fuck, it's sanitary. I'm drunk as fuck. I don't give a shit. So I keep fishing for another 2-3 hours. Then Chris comes. He's like, yo, bro, you gotta go home. Same with Arsony. He's like, yo, Arsony, you're too fucking drunk and high for this shit. You gotta go. And he confiscated our bottle when there was like fucking a finger's worth, like a finger's width left at the bottom. So like pretty much at the end of its width. He takes his bottle. He doesn't convince us to leave. We stay, and he dips. And like 3 hours later, we end up going back to my place after catching maybe 5 or 6 good fish. Don't keep any because fuck that, right? Get back to my place. Have more brewskis. I think I finished the night off with a fire. Arsony went home at about 9 or 10. It was a good time. I'm finished my joint. Wow. We're at 12 minutes. I think it's about time to end it. So, before I go here, I want to tell you a couple things. Make sure to subscribe, first of all. Make sure to like. If you made it this far, make sure to comment at least. Be like, hey, I made it in the video. Or at least be like, hey, first, lol. Other than that, I don't know. Catch me on Discord with the username DerpTurtle44. I'm on PS4 DerpTurtle44. I'm on Steam DerpTurtle44. That's my tag. I'll see y'all later. Peace.